In the case of New York versus Quarles, a woman came up to two police officers telling them that she had just been raped. She went on to describe her rapist and told them that he had just went into a grocery store with a gun. Upon entering the store, the officer saw who he thought to be the offender due to the description he had been given. The man attempted to flee through the back of the store, and the officer ended up losing sight of him for a very brief period of time. After catching up to him, Officer Kraft told him to stop and put his hands over his head. He was then frisked, where it was found that he had an empty shoulder holster. After handcuffing him, the officer asked him where the gun was, and the defendant nodded and informed him that the gun is over there. The gun was retrieved, the offender was arrested, and then read his Miranda rights. The initial trial court suppressed both the defendant's initial statement and the gun because he had not been given the Miranda warnings, which both the New York Supreme Court and the New York Court of Appeals held as well. The U.S. Supreme Court held that there is a public safety exception to the requirement that officers issue Miranda warnings to suspects. Since the police officer's request for the whereabouts of the gun was brought on by an immediate need to guarantee that it did not end up in the hands of an accomplice or injuring someone else, Kraft's failure to read the Miranda warning directly after stopping him did not violate Quarles' constitutional rights. I fully agree with the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in this case. If officers were made to read Miranda rights before asking any questions whatsoever, it could lead to many unnecessary and dangerous situations. If this had happened outside and there were children around, it could have ended quite differently had the officer been mandated to make the defendant aware of his Miranda rights before questioning him about the location of the